فَحَقَّ عَلَيْنَا قَوْلُ رَبِّنَا. Then the word of our master has already manifested, it is deserving, the verdict has already come to pass. You see in the previous surah, وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. The verdict may be passed on the disbelievers. And now the verdict has passed. There it was, لِتُنذِرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. The messenger has been sent, the Quran has come down, so it can warn those who are still alive. And the disbelievers, the verdict may come to pass on them. Now in the next surah, we're seeing the verdict has passed, and they're saying, yep, you know what, we deserve it. We both deserve it. Okay, you know, you were pretty bad on your own, and yes, I was an influential figure too, but so I'm here also. So the word has passed. Inna ladha'iqun. We are now just going to be tasting it now. Inna ladha'iqun. We are constantly going to be tasting this torture. It's like saying, let's just burn now. Okay, there's no point yelling at each other. It's done deal. فَأَغْوَيْنَاكُمْ. Yeah, we did kind of mislead you too. إِنَّا كُنَّا غَاوِينَ. We ourselves had always been lost. It's not like we guided you to something. We lost you because we ourselves were way off the path. فَإِنَّهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ فِي الْعَذَابِ مُشْتَرِكُونَ. Then on that day, those people, no doubt about it, are going to be partners in punishment. They're going to be sharing in the punishment. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَفْعَلُ بِالْمُجْرِمِينَ. No doubt that is how we deal with criminals. That is in fact how we deal with criminals. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا إِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. Those are the kinds of people that whenever it's said to them, لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Whenever لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ is said to them, whenever they're told nobody should be worshipped or obeyed or devoted to except Allah, يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. They show pride. They try to show their arrogance. وَيَقُولُونَ. And they would turn around and say, إِنَّا لَتَارِكُوا آلِهَتِنَا. We're going to be abandoning our gods? لِشَاعِرٍ مَجْنُونَ. For this insane poet? You want us to leave it for this? What was the last surah ending with? وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ. We didn't teach him poetry. And now we're going to leave our gods for this crazy poet? That's what you want us to do? بَلْ جَاءَ بِالْحَقِّ. Rather, he has come with the truth. وَصَدَّقَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And the messenger, and he's confirmed the truth in all previous messengers. He's proven that all previous messengers were true. إِنَّكُمْ لَذَائِقُ الْعَذَابِ الْأَلِيمِ. You people are the tasters, the continuous and constant and endless tasters truly of the painful punishment. وَمَا تُجْزَوْنَا إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And you are not being compensated with anything at all except what you did yourselves. إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Not so the case of those, the slaves of Allah, who were made sincere, who were granted sincerity. Beautiful words, mukhlis and mukhlas. Mukhlis in Arabic is someone who's sincere. Mukhlas in Arabic is someone who is granted sincerity. It's a divine gift. You put in the work and you ask Allah for sincerity and you try to do your best for Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah will, on top of your intentions, purify them in a way you're not capable of. He'll give you a sincerity you can't even get on your own. So you're mukhlasin. You are not so is the case of the slaves of Allah that have been granted by divine intervention special sincerity. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ رِزْقٌ مَعْلُومٌ. Those people, they're going to have a known compensation, a known provision, a known sustenance. معلوم لأن الله عز وجل ذكرها ووصفها في كثير من الأحيان في كثير من السور. How many places Allah mentions this rizq and this Jannah and describes it? So now He calls it, it's known. It's known what they're going to get. فَوَاكِهُ. Tasty fruits. وَهُمْ مُكْرَمُونَ. And they're going to be honored therein. فِي جَنَّاتِ النَّعِيمِ. In the gardens that have constant favor, constant luxury. So now we're getting two dimensions of Jannah. In Surah Yasin, we saw a dimension of Jannah where there's constant activity. But then there's the kind of person who even in Jannah says, activities are awesome. And even if they don't exhaust me, I just want to relax. I just want to relax. So Allah says these are the gardens, not just of constant activity, but they're also of constant relaxation. Na'im, sitting back, softness, luxury. عَلَى سُرُرٍ مُتَقَابِلِينَ. On beds and lofty, high beds and couches, they're going to be facing one another. So there are now gardens, and there's a huge, gigantic living room, and you're sitting in the living room and you can see everybody. Now what happens in parties is, you can only talk to so many people. So first of all, it's limited, it's a huge crowd, right? But Allah will make it so we get to see everybody, everybody gets to see everybody else. Hey, you're here? Yeah. Oh, I didn't think you'd, okay, well, welcome. That's awesome to have you here too. How's it been? So when did you get here? Well, I died when I was 82. I died when I was 40. Subhanallah. And then this guy in the back, he goes, I've been here since like the 3rd century because I was a shaheed. And we're like, tell us your story. And everybody's facing everybody. They're talking. And of course, if you're hanging out together and talking, there needs to be some drinks. And since they're sitting on couches already, they shouldn't get up and get the drinks. Hold on, I'm a little thirsty. Give me a minute. You want to get something? No. You all sit, relax. Yutafu alayhim. Tawaf will be done all over them. Meaning there are servants that are constantly running around with drinks. Min bika'sin, with cups, min ma'in, of clear crystal. And drink that is clear, you can see right through it. Sir, more drink? Ma'am, more drink? And there's passing out. And everybody's getting drinks. And these servants are coming, you don't even have to get up. Bayda'a, and the drinks are clear white, some of them. Ladhatin lisharibin. Bayda'a ladhatin, white in taste. Meaning you can taste the color. You see the color looks good. Oh, it tastes awesome too. Because you know what happens? Sometimes the color looks good in dunya of a drink. But when you taste it, you're like, patu, what is that? Like me, for example, I can't stand ruh afza. I can't stand it. But I love strawberry milk. So first time I saw ruh afza, it's like, oh, I'm going to down this sucker. So you go halfway down the glass and you're like, what is this? So, but this is now the color of it looks enticing, but you're still kind of scared, and then you're like, I don't know if it's going to be, let me try a little. No, you have the rest, mom. You drink the rest. This is yutafu, bayda, very clear white. White of texture white of taste implies the taste is going to be pure. It's going to be fresh, lisharibin, for people that are going to be continually drinking. And it's not like you're full. When the guy comes back and you're like, no, I had enough. Any more, my bladder will explode. Not in Jannah. You sweat out perfume. It's all good. Pass another round, buddy. That's why that guy's yutaf. He keeps on going. His constant job is to circle around. La fiha ghawlun, wa la hum yunzafun. In it, there's not going to be ghawl. Ghawl, actually, an interesting word. It's to have the closest thing to a hangover. When people get drunk, they have a hangover. And it also means for someone to see devils. When someone gets really drunk and people's faces start morphing and they start seeing things, they become delusional. So to get overly drunk and lose your mind. That's why ghawl is also used for evil spirits and like possession, or for somebody to not make sense when they're talking, to be terrified, to get nightmares as a result. These drinks aren't going to do that. وَلَا هُمْ يُنْزَفُونَ, and they're not going to be drained out. You know how they say, we ran out of it, sir, I'm sorry. There's no more. Like at iftars. There's no more. You're not going to run dry. Also means you're not going to be given a headache. You're not going to get a headache because of the drinks. No brain freeze in Jannah. You drink too fast and it gets you. So, of course with alcoholic drinks, alhamdulillah, we haven't experienced that, but we know what we know of these people. They're throwing up, they're getting into car accidents, they're getting massive headaches, they're getting hangovers, etc., etc. None of that will happen in Jannah. وَعِنْدَهُمْ قَاصِرَاتُ الطَّرْفِ. And in their company, there are going to be these beautiful spouses that are being described as قَاصِرَاتُ الطَّرْفِ, that are going to be lowering their eyes. And then their eyes themselves, عين, sparkly, clear, crystal clear eyes, that they don't want to make eye contact with their husbands. They're shy, and they're right around them, so they have to go and see them. كأنهن بيض مكنون, as though they are hidden eggs. Now, when you say hidden eggs, what's that? I mean, my beautiful spouse in paradise. I open up the fridge and I see a 12 carton of egg, and like, كأنهن بيض مكنون. What is this? But actually what this is talking about is something entirely different. Maknoon comes from kanna. Kanna is to be in the indent of a mountain. Kanan, indent of a mountain. So the mountain climber is climbing up, and he gets to the peak. And he finds an eagle's nest. And he discovers these beautiful eggs. It's this discovery, like, whoa! Nobody's ever seen this before. You see? Baydul Maknoon here implies as though they're a hidden treasure. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody that beautiful before. And she's shy, she doesn't even make eye contact. Qasiratut tarf, they're shy. Their haya is described. Like, you know, the way your wife used to be like for 1 week. She didn't make eye contact, she just kind of, hee hee. She just did that. Now she looks at you and you die. Did you get the milk? And then, you know, but this will come back. The same shyness will come back on your own spouse. فَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. So they go home to their beautiful spouse. Then they say, no, I want to go hang out on the couch again. So they go back out and they're facing each other. They're meeting one another. بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. They're asking each other questions. Oh my God, I remember you. How have you been? How was Judgment Day for you? Oh bro, I was so scared in the beginning. But then, when the angel gave me the book in my right hand, I was like, phew. Oh my God. You know how you guys talk after an exam? You have that conversation? How'd it go? Oh man, when I got to question number 5, I was like, oh my God. What'd you get? What'd you get? What'd you get? There's this like reunion happening. And you haven't seen them like, now you're starting to meet people that you didn't expect. Because you died centuries ago. Then there was Judgment Day when you didn't care about anybody else. Only person you cared about was yourself. Now you made it into Jannah, and the first thing was you saw your own house, you saw, you know, all of that, then your spouse, and then there's a party, okay, let's go to the party, and then you start seeing people from like, you know, New York, you start seeing people from Lahore, you start seeing your cousins, you start seeing the Imam of the Masjid, you start seeing friends you made at the convention, everybody, and you're like, hey, oh my God, are you Umar bin Khattab? Scared to ask. And they're meeting each other, they're asking each other questions, asking how was it like, what was it like? And then they're sitting, relaxing, just reminiscing about old times. You know, that's what friends do when they meet after a long time. They talk about old times. Man, remember Shaitan's waswasa? Glad that's over. He'd be burning now. You know? قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ. One of them said, إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ. I used to have this friend I always hung out with. Qarana actually means to come right next to something. Like a generation comes after another generation, qarn. It flows into the other. I had a friend that I always hung out with. There was this guy, man, we used to sit in every class together. There was this girl. She and I, the sister says, she and I, every class we took together. I used to go sleep over at her house. She used to come sleep over at my house. People used to think we're siblings. We used to hang out all the time. I don't see her. إِنِّي كَانَ لِي قَرِينٌ. يقولوا أئنك لمن المصدقين. And then مصدقين. Then he has a flashback. The person has a flashback. Oh, that friend of mine. When I became Muslim, or I became Muslim, I really became Muslim. Then he turned to me and said, "Are you for real, bro? Are you for real? إنك لمن المصدقين. Are you seriously confirming the truth in the message is not what it really is saying in our time? What it say? Are you for real, man? Your prayer, Jannah, hellfire. What are you talking about? Let's go. There's a party. Let's go." No, bro, I'm afraid of hellfire. What hellfire? Where did you get this from? What's wrong with you? What happened to you, man? Forget it. I'll just go. You're missing out. إنك لمن المصدقين. أإذا متنا وكنا ترابا وعظاما أإنا لمدينون. When we are reduced to decayed dirt and decayed bones, we're going to be brought to justice, to stand in front of Allah and to be made to be judged. Madeen from deen. It's maf'ul, like madyun. Madinun. We're going to be brought before Allah to be judged, and where are you getting this stuff from? You used to be so much fun to hang out with. We used to chill, bro. I don't know what's wrong with you. Qala. So this is the last conversation he remembers with his friend. Because after that conversation, they stopped hanging out. His friend did his thing and he did his thing. They just parted ways. And then he got married and moved on with life, moved out of the city. He doesn't remember that high school buddy of his from back in the day. He doesn't remember. But then in Jannah, the memory comes back. And now we're learning something else, that in Jannah we'll remember everything. We'll remember everything about dunya. And then he says to everybody else sitting in the crowd, all the other believers that he's facing, and the drinks are being passed around, and he says to them, "Hal antum muttali'un?" Hey, you guys, would you like to find out what happened to him? Ittala'a, to climb up a mountain again, to climb on a height, to discover something. So would you guys like to start an investigation to find out what happened? Now, what do we learn about Jannah? وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ. You're going to have whatever you place an order of. And what order did he just place? I want to know what happened to my friend. هَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُطَّلِعُونَ فَطَّلَعَ. So he made the request, he tried to find out. فَرَآهُ. So even in Jannah, Allah opened a window for him and showed him a window into the middle of hell. فِي سَوَاءِ الْجَحِيمِ. He saw his friend in the middle of Jahim, in the middle of the roar. Remember there was a path to the roar and it was getting louder and louder? You remember that? He's in the middle of the Jahim. He's deep in the thick of it, his friend. And now this guy, now you need you to keep with me where the scene is happening. This person is in Jannah and they've gotten a view into Jahannam. And they're looking at their friend only because they requested, I want to see my friend. Even that wish is granted. Jannah grants you every wish. He looks at his friend, he says, Tallahi, I swear to God. By the way, Tallahi is never used except in cases of emergency. In crazy cases. You normally you say Wallahi. Arab says Wallahi. Wallahi, it's 100 degrees today. Wallahi, the exam, I don't know. Wallahi, I hate that guy. It's fine. Tallahi, when you mean business, when it's really intense, when it's serious. Tallahi, in kitta la turdin. He doesn't even say, Tallahi, are you okay? Are you alright? Can I do something? Can I get you some water? Because there's water being passed around over here. Ma'in bayda'a ladhatin lisharibin. Can I just throw some down at you or something? No. First thing that come out of his mouth. Oh my, I swear to God, you almost made me fall off the cliff too. See how much imagery of the cliff there is? فَطَّلَعَ, to climb on a mountain. To climb on a mountain. Then turdin arda yurdi irda, to drop somebody off a cliff, to push somebody off a cliff. He's like, man, you almost got me pushed off the cliff. What's he talking about? He's like, I almost hung out with you. I almost adopted the same lifestyle you have. Oh my God, that was close. Because I used to hang out with you all the time. We used to think like one. We used to do everything together. And I almost did the haram things with you too that you were up to. But, oh, that was close. In kitta la turdin. And where is he still? Where is this guy still? Still in Jannah. And he says this. لَوْلَا نِعْمَةُ رَبِّي. He says, had it not been the favor of my master, لَكُنْتُ مِنَ الْمُحْضَرِينَ. I would have been from those who are made to stand. Now, made to stand, presented for evaluation, happens in Judgment Day. Has Judgment Day already come and passed? Yeah, so he's reminiscing. I remember I was passing by, I was making my way to the gates of Jannah, and I saw some people couldn't go because they were being interrogated. You know how there's an express line in the Travel Security Administration? And then there's the everybody else line? And there are some people just go through security and watch everybody else still standing there? The VIP pass? This guy, as he was walking by, he saw those people that were standing, huge millions of people standing, waiting for their interrogation or the interrogation going on. And you just walk straight into Jannah, the path. So he says, oh my God, if Allah's favor wasn't there, I would have been in that list, that group of people, because that's where they end up. لَكُنْتُ مِنَ الْمُحْضَرِينَ. So he's reliving now in Jannah, he's reliving the events of Judgment Day. Just because he saw a picture of hellfire. So now the window is closed. He doesn't want to look at it anymore. His wish is granted, the window is closed. Where is he again? Jannah. But you know why I keep saying that? Because now that the window is closed, he looks at Jannah again, and it's like he's looking at it for the first time. It's like he was never there. Was he already there? Was he already hanging out? Was the Judgment Day already passed? Everything's already done. But even just that look shattered the memories of Jannah for him. It's like, now his new joy is not that he's in Jannah. His new joy is that he's not in hell. That's his new joy. So the first thing he says, أَفَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَيِّتِينَ. Are we really not going to be dying anymore? Really? There's no more death? He already knew that. But he's saying it because he's in shock. And how great not being in hell is. إِلَّا مَوْتَتَنَا الْأُولَى. Except the first death we already tasted, it's over, right? It's not going to happen again. وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُعَذَّبِينَ. And we're never going to be tortured again, right? We're never going to be tortured, right? Oh my God. Who's going to be talking about torture in Jannah? But this guy's so happy to be in Jannah now, not because of the drinks and the company and the beautiful spouse like that. That's like the eagle's egg on top of the mountain and all of that. He's happy because he's not in hell. It's amazing. وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُعَذَّبِينَ. We're not going to be tortured ever again? إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. No doubt this is the ultimate success. For this guy, the ultimate success is not being tortured. Because he sees what it's like.